Hey YouTube, welcome back. We are mDecks Music. We are going to continue our analysis of Beethoven using Mapping Tonal Harmony Pro. In our last video, we just wrapped up the idea and repetition of theme B. So what we aim to do next is just finish up theme B by looking more in depth to what the variation is doing and all the things involved in that. Before we move forward, it might be a good idea to reference one of the other videos we did about Beethoven's grammar and his language and how he talks, because we're going to get more into the form of theme B as we label the parts so we know where we are. All right, so hopefully we have a better understanding now of the idea and the repetition and the diminished chord theory with regard to that, because we're going to see it again in the variation, so make sure you understand that too. Okay, so before we enter in any chords into Mapping Tonal Harmony, let's take a listen again to what theme B is, its idea, its repetition, and its variation, just to refresh our ears on what exactly we're about to do. Okay, so as we move forward and we analyze the variation, much like we did with the idea and repetition, we're going to have to consider what's going on in the melody to know what the harmony is really saying. The left-hand part, the bass clef part, is really limited. It's got 2 notes at a time, mostly. So for us to really understand what the harmony is, we have to take a look at what's going on in the right hand. And we also have to know where in the right hand or where in the melody the notes that apply to the harmony are versus the approach tones that may or may not be there. What do we consider with regard to labeling or analyzing harmony, and what do we not consider, right? That starts mainly right here with that little cluster of notes at measure 26. What Beethoven is doing here is actually trapping the melody note. What he's doing is considering A flat, B flat, C, D, and E flat his melody. It's just a scale. And he's preceding each one of those notes I just mentioned by trapping. So if you remember, we explained this trapping technique back when we were analyzing theme A. So check out that video also if you want to kind of get a refresher on that. But succinctly, what he's really doing here is targeting his melody note, right? And then trapping it by an approach from chromatic from below and diatonic from above. So that's why he's going G, B flat, and then landing on the A flat. So all Beethoven is merely doing here is taking a scale, which is ascending, by the way, which is a complete contrary movement to the idea and repetition. That was all going down. Now in an attempt of balancing itself, balancing B, he's taking this scale, and now we're going in an ascending direction. So he's just merely taking that scale and trapping each note in that scale chromatically from below and diatonically from above. Right? So that's where you're getting what notes do I pay attention to with regard to labeling the harmony, and which notes do I sort of ignore as approach tones. So if you look at the left hand and you see the C and the E flat, those chords are, or those notes are common in a bunch of chords. How do I know how to narrow that down? Do I consider the G, and do I consider the B flat? Do I get an A flat major 9, or do I get some other iteration of these notes? Well, if you ignore the G and the B flat, you know, the approach tones, all you're left with is essentially a 1 chord. It's just the A flat, the C, and the E flat. So that's what we're going to do moving forward when we start plugging in these chords into Mapping Tonal Harmony Pro. We're only going to consider what the melody is, and we're going to ignore the chromatic from below, diatonic from above approach tones.